Draw back the curtains of time and venture into the sensational and provocative world of ancient Greek gymnasiums. These were no ordinary fitness centers. They were melting pots of socialization, education, and heated debates, all happening in the raw. Welcome to Unseen History, and let's unfurl the scrolls of time together, deciphering the enticing, bizarre, and often debatable practices of our ancient ancestors. The word gymnasium unfurls its roots in the ancient Greek term gymnasium, signifying to exercise naked. Isn't that a rather tantalizing opener? In the ancient world of Greece, the realms of fitness weren't only about brute strength or agility. They were a harmonious blend of philosophy, aesthetics, and the audacious pursuit of physical prowess. The birth of this bold, unabashed physical culture is steeped in many riveting tales. Some narrate the Spartans' unabashed custom of public disrobing and oiling their bodies. Others cite Athenian law that enforced nudity after a dramatic incident. A runner, in the throes of a race, tripped and fell as his loincloth unraveled, leading to a monumental shift in athletic attire. Deciphering the visuals of a Greek athlete on his way to the gymnasium wasn't a Herculean task. Each carried a personal kit similar to the modern day with their water flasks, gym bags, and towels. This ancient version included an oil flask, a strigio for scraping oil and grime off the body, and a sponge. Akin to a pre-workout ritual, the Greek athletes lathered their skin in oil before flexing their muscles. Post-workout, they meticulously scraped off the oil, sweat, and dust, a process that seems both practical and symbolic. The oil worked as a sunblock and saved their clothes from becoming a messy affair. It also offered a surreal visual, a glistening display of physical prowess. From the scrapings of the most legendary athletes came a fascinating byproduct. These relics were sold to the average citizens as serums and healing ointments. Such practices might raise eyebrows today, but they weren't so different from modern phenomena like selling used bath water, thus reminding us of our curious desire for connection with those we idolize. Ancient Greek gyms were complex tapestries woven with threads of socializing, education, and philosophy. Tracing their origins to the 6th century BC, these spaces were once simple arenas of packed earth, often shaded by trees and situated near a water source. The architecture evolved over time, and by the 3rd century BC, gymnasiums had transformed into grand architectural complexes. A typical Greek gymnasium consisted of an open-air courtyard, circled by colonnades. The courtyard floor, blanketed with sand, was a soft playground for exercises like wrestling, jumping, and tumbling. Spectators could comfortably watch from the shade of the colonnades. A basin or a fountain often graced the courtyard's heart, a place for athletes to cleanse themselves pre- and post-workouts. These gymnasiums catered to both genders, with separate areas allocated. They also contained designated zones for different sports and exercises. One defining element was the palaestra, a rectangular training ground. Here, athletes engaged in combat sports like wrestling and boxing. The palaestra featured its own colonnade, sand-covered floor, and a small pool for swimming and bathing. Beyond the realm of physical training, the gymnasium also nurtured minds. Philosophers, poets, and intellectuals convened in the colonnades for lively discussions. Famous thinkers like Plato and Aristotle often frequented these spaces, engaging in both physical activity and intellectual discourse. Plato, known as one of history's greatest philosophers, had a keen interest in physical fitness. His students and contemporaries reported his regular presence in gymnasiums, partaking in a variety of activities. Plato proposed a deep connection between physical fitness and a healthy mind and body. He championed exercise as a crucial tool for cultivating strength, endurance, and discipline, qualities he deemed essential for intellectual pursuits and a virtuous life. In the gymnasium, Plato would engage in wrestling, running, and jumping. He practiced gymnastics, which involved calisthenics, stretching, and tumbling. For Plato, however, fitness was not the final destination, but a journey towards knowledge and wisdom. Besides his love for physical fitness, Plato had intriguing philosophical views on reality, human condition, and wisdom. These views continue to shape Western philosophy and incite debates even today. Yet, a controversial aspect of Plato's life stirs heated discussions among scholars and historians. Some ancient Greek sources suggest that Plato admired the physical beauty of young men, possibly engaging in relationships with them within the gymnasium context. In ancient Greece, relationships between older men and younger men were commonplace, often viewed as an essential part of mentorship and education. This practice, known as pederasty, aimed to instill discipline and moral values in young men. In his dialogues, Symposium, Plato explores the topic of pederasty. The character Phaedrus presents an eloquent speech describing pederasty as a noble and virtuous practice. Yet, Plato's views remain hotly debated. Some suggest he saw pederasty as an avenue for intellectual and moral growth in young men, while others hint he may have had personal relationships with young men. Despite the controversial lens through which Plato's views on pederasty are examined, it's clear he found the physical beauty and athleticism of young men compelling. He believed that physical fitness was an important aspect of education and personal growth, and saw the gymnasium as a place to cultivate both physical and intellectual potential. These relationships align with the practice of pederasty in ancient Greece. Yet, it's crucial to comprehend this aspect of Plato's life within the broader cultural and historical context of ancient Greece. Ancient Greek societies didn't categorize homosexuality as we do today. The role it played in ancient Greek gymnasiums is intricate and a subject of historical debate. Young men, known as ephebes, often trained under older male trainers. This training was seen as a crucial part of preparing for citizenship and military service. Some historians suggest sexual relationships between the ephebes and their trainers might have occurred. However, these relationships were viewed as part of the mentor-student relationship. The concept of homosexuality as a distinct sexual identity didn't exist in ancient Greece. Sexual behavior was viewed on a spectrum, with same-sex relationships as one aspect of a larger sexual continuum. Moreover, relationships between men and women were seen more in a social and political light, rather than romantic. The practice of homosexuality in ancient Greek gymnasiums was not uniform and varied across different city-states and periods. While it was more prevalent in regions like Athens, it was less common in Sparta. Would you have chosen to train in an ancient Greek gymnasium, considering all its intriguing complexities and norms? These ancient establishments were far more than venues for athletic training. While we may not embrace all their customs, the spirit of seeking physical and intellectual betterment lives on. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share if you enjoyed our journey into the past. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another intriguing exploration.